Good afternoon, my name is Alena Shautsova. I am an immigration attorney from Brooklyn, New York. In today's video, I would like to talk to you about incoming changes in asylum law in the United States. Maybe not so much about the law itself, but changes with regard to the procedure, the form that collects information for the asylum application, the work regulations, work permit regulations, and some substantive changes regarding the qualifications for asylum. Well, first of all, the form I-589 is going to be changed, or at least there is a proposal to change that form. The form is going to soon ask, perhaps, maybe not, but the proposal is that the form is going to be asking for very legalized, heavily legally questions. For example, applicants for asylum will have to articulate clearly as to what specific particular social group they believe they belong. The problem with that is that particular social group's definition is being shaped by the courts. It's not an easy question even for an attorney to answer, and perhaps sometimes, very often, a person may actually belong to several social groups, but without legal education and legal education in the United States, a person will have very hard time answering that question fully and correctly. Another proposed change in the form is that the person will have to explain the connection between the cause, between the persecution and harm. The person will have to prove outright in the form that the harm the person suffered actually happened on account of protected ground. Very interesting the point that even the courts in the United States sort of don't really agree how specifically a person can prove that he or she was harmed because of particular ground. So there is a test that was developed by the courts in the United States. They're saying that motive to hurt based on a protected ground has to be at least one central reason in person's persecution for the person to win asylum in the United States. But I know that because I've been practicing law in the United States and I'm an attorney. I am positive that a person who often speaks foreign language and is under a lot of stress will not be able to really put their thoughts together on paper just like I can, right? Or some other lawyers can. So that's another interesting point in the whole changes for asylum, is that it's becoming more and more legally controlled. Basically, a person outright has to be able to formulate their legal claim perfectly, fully, correctly, so that they will not be able to lose their case just because they didn't write their claim the legal way, the way the government wants it to see written. Because what's happening, and it's connecting to another big change that's going on, is that if now the government finds that your claim does not present merit, is not legally sufficient, your case is going to be labeled as frivolous, meaning that you just filed the case just to file it, just to get some benefits in the United States, or hope for the benefits. And that definition and that label of frivolous case can come with very heavy consequences, because there are legal consequences for somebody who is filing frivolous asylum claims. The consequences, to put it short, a person will be disqualified for any future benefits in the United States. So it's either you know how to legally form your thoughts, what happened to you right away, or you face a risk of being forever disqualified for any benefit in the United States in the future, meaning that asylum filing becomes a very risky situation for somebody who does not have an attorney. Of course, I hope that in practice, asylum officers are not going to do this and are not going to label every case where a person could not accurately formulate their thoughts, right, as frivolous case, because that would be very, very unfair. So another large change, of course, I have to mention it here, is the asylum work permit based on asylum filing. As you're aware, or maybe aware, the timing as to when a person who filed for asylum is going to qualify for work permit is being extended. It's 365 days instead of 180 days. So basically, a person who comes to the United States will have to wait for a full year before they will be able to file for their work permit. And if the person is going to cause any delays in the process, asylum work permit is not even going to be issued to them until the delay is resolved. One of the biggest or most significant changes in qualifications for the work permit that's coming is that the person who is filing their case after the 1-year deadline will not be able to qualify for the work permit until the issue of 1-year deadline is resolved. It means that until an asylum officer actually determines that the 1-year deadline should be excused, a person is not going to get the work permit. In certain situations, this issue is reserved for the judge. It means that until the judge rules on the issue, whether or not asylum applicant missed the 1-year deadline with a good excuse, or the timing to file asylum should be restored to the deadline. It's, for example, in the case of changed country conditions. Until that determination is made, a person is not going to get a work permit. So that's a pretty heavy change. I know that there were a lot of cases filed by people who missed the 1-year deadline. There were a lot of attorneys advising clients to file for asylum once the clients have lived in the United States for 10 years. Those lawyers advised clients to file for asylum so that asylum will be denied and the person is going to be transferred to court to have a chance at cancellation of removal. So basically, the change in laws that I just spoke about is going to deter that practice, number one. And by the way, the practice of filing for asylum simply in hopes of getting a chance at cancellation of removal in immigration court currently is being widely condemned, and some attorneys are even being sanctioned for that practice. All right, so that's something you need to know if someone will advise you to do that. All right, there are better ways to get to immigration court basically, but these are the most important changes that are coming up in asylum regulations, asylum work permit qualifications, asylum form, and of course I have to mention that there will be a fee for asylum cases as well. Fee will be set at $50 for those who would like to file for asylum in the United States. Well, thank you very much for joining me. If you like this video, please share, subscribe to my channel, and I will always be happy to share the latest news and updates with you on this channel. And you can learn more about immigration on our website. www.shautsova.com. Thank you.